the train has left the station and no one can stop it. And it looks like that, and I believe that we are getting close to the last days of possible rethinking and reconsidering of everything that is happening in Ukraine. If those big powers don't do anything in a short period of time, yes, I'm pretty much certain that we'll face a real disaster.
Leaders in Germany, even politicians in Switzerland, leaders in the United States, they say, well, Putin, he's an imperial dictator. He starts with Ukraine and then he attacks other countries. The German military minister has just expressed that Putin had explicitly said he will attack other countries. What is, I mean, you know the Russian president, what is that his agenda? Is he an imperial conqueror? Is that the reason for this war?
I see things slightly differently. What I believe is that, first of all, we condemn that incursion and intrusion into Ukrainian territory, as you know, as a country, as a state. But it's more complex and it's much more complicated. And if you want to make this kind of equations, and then my question would be, what did you do with Serbia in 1999 and 2008? And then there are no responses. And you saw that Putin was using that Kosovo precedent in his recent statement as well. And there are no responses to that. The only response he got even from Angela Merkel, okay, it was a bloodshed that lasted for almost 8 years in Kosovo, which is not totally right and not totally true. But at the end, Putin was saying, but yeah, well, it was not happening. It was not like happening in Donbass as well. And now it's a big political fight because Putin will always use this Kosovo precedent, which is not good for us Serbs. But if I were him, would have done most probably the same. Why would I care too much about Serbs in Serbia? I would do it because it's in the interest of Russia. And there is no proper response from the other side, speaking about international public law and things that some countries did or did not do in accordance, in adherence with UN Charter and UN resolutions and international public law in general. What is complicating the situation even more is that everybody is speaking only about war. Nobody wants to reach the peace. Nobody speaks about peace. Peace is almost a forbidden word. And please notice this. Because they say we need to win in order to secure future peace, but nobody's speaking about a peace, and then okay, you negotiate it. But you have the other side, you have to have the other side on the table as well. It's it's very strange to me that no one is actually attempting to stop the war. There is another theory which I can understand, which I don't say that I do approve, but I understand that West thinks that they can win easily against Putin. They want to exhaust him in Ukraine, and then they will enter the space, and then Russia in today's territory and shaped like it is today won't exist anymore, and Putin will be overthrown and everything else. Yeah, maybe that's possible, but
do you think that is possible? Is it possible to use Ukraine to weaken Russia?
Well, it weakened Russia anyway, but is it enough to destroy Russia and to overthrow Putin? I don't believe so. I don't believe so. And I believe that I cannot say they overestimate themselves. I believe they underestimate Russia and Putin.
How do you explain the mood in countries like France, Germany, United States? Most part of the media the mood is confrontation. We have to do more. We have to bring in more weapons. Everybody is saying that in the media and political mainstream. How do you explain that, this kind of war enthusiasm, to call it, to use this word?
Whenever I was asked by many people here to launch a war against Albanians and NATO in Kosovo because they were expelling our people, killing our people and everything else, I was just saying, okay, I do understand your emotions, I do understand your position, but would you really like if the fact that your mother will get a coffin with her son, husband, father, whomever, and then it's a slightly different approach. In today's Europe, they all act like big heroes, but they did not say to their people that they will pay a very big price. And speaking about it, you and all these leaders should do absolutely everything in order to stop any kind of warmongering behavior and everything. I mean even more about Russia, but I'm speaking about this type of behavior. But at the end, people are thinking of their own interests. I do understand why Macron is insisting on this, because his stance is most probably, well, if I have to, and if we'll have to face Russia, it's better to facing them on Ukrainian soil than on European soil or Central European soil. And it's pretty much the same attitude of Germans with some differences. But on the other hand, before saying that, before doing that, that's what I think. They should all try to reaching any kind of truce, any kind of ceasefire, and then to negotiate for 10, 20, 30, 50 years. Doesn't matter. It's better than a day of bitter fight which we face today.
Do you think that the NATO countries and the United States will accept a military defeat of Ukraine? President Macron has said we have to send in NATO troops. This would probably mean
Thank you for
this
question. Why I'm speaking that we are getting close to the precipice, to the abyss. Analyze the situation of NATO and the United States. They cannot afford themselves losing war in Ukraine, which means Russia cannot win. Because, first of all, their political legacy will not exist, or it will be so poor that they cannot allow themselves. Number two, position of Europe and the West, collective West, in geopolitical terms, will deteriorate so much that no one would be able to revive it and to renew it. And number three, it will open Pandora's box for more movements, at least, and hostilities against collective West in the future. But take the other side. That's a nice story for one side. But take the other side. If Putin loses the war, he's gonna lose personally everything. If he loses the war, he won't have a legacy of someone that created a sort of common denominator for Ivan, Peter the Great, and Catherine the Great. And number three, Russia will not exist and won't be shaped like it is today. I mean, when you have these two sides so much far from each other, with their wishes, with their expectations, then you see that everything is at stake. Everything. No one can afford to himself or to itself, to themselves, to lose. When you have this situation, that's why I was saying to you That's why I was saying publicly and not hiding it that we are getting closer to a real disaster.